Hey guys, so welcome to the final video of this web analytics series using WebSockets. And in this video, I'll talk about geolocation, like how you can get geolocation. So as I told you, if you want to have geolocations, you must have a lot of servers which would be basically capturing that data. And it is not that straightforward compared to what data you capture from your web application. Okay, so you can find a lot of geolocation free APIs. So geolocation API is free. You can search up and you will find like there are lots of API out there. You can choose. All of them have some kind of inaccuracy. So don't expect that your data would be super accurate. And even if it is super accurate, if someone else is using VPN, then what will happen is you will get the location of the VPN and not the actual location of that person. Okay, so one of the IPs that I use, which I really like, is this one. So it gives you the JSON, and you can get all the IP details and everything, and then you can use it. This is only going to work when user is not using VPN or anything. So of course this is a uncertain data, but just for your information, I'm giving you a context of that. Okay, so now knowing that we can use this, what we are going to do small change. So here we have. So let's have one more use effect. So let's say const geo IP data, and I think we don't have to do it like this. So in order to send, your data, we'll have to do some more changes here. So now it would be payload and, operation type. So operation type would be, let's say, events and geolocation. Okay, for now we will keep it like this. So this would be the first change that we would be doing. And then we also have, const send geolocation data. Okay, so this would be basically an asynchronous function. What it will do is, um, so first it will make a fetch call to the IP that I told you. Okay, and this would be a get request. We don't need to specify this. By default it would be get only, but yeah, let's just have, and then we will get a response. So we will convert it into response.json, and then we will get the data. Okay, and from here onwards we need to make a send call. So we will do again the send data. Not send data, because send data is specifically for the events only. So actually let's name it as send events data, and let's change it everywhere else. Okay, and let's quickly make a copy of this. Actually we don't need a copy, we can just keep it like this. So ws client send json data, payload would be the data that we get, and actually we can name it as payload itself instead of making it like this here. And operation type would be IP. Okay, or we can just use geolocation. Okay, so this is the change, and we can just on open when the connection established, we can actually make API call to this. Okay, so I mean we can either, let's keep this log as well, and let's do it like this. So now every time it will send the geolocation data. Now we need to do some changes in our backend also. So we need to first kill our server, clear things up, and then we have on message. So let's create a method. uh, I mean, ideally we should create it in a different folder altogether, because it is a specific functionality, but just for the sake, this is the last thing that we are going to capture, so let's have it here. So let's say operation data handler equal to, okay, and here we will receive the payload. And what else? I think let's have a curly bracket destructuring, object destructuring, payload, and how are we sending it here? Operation type. Okay. So we can keep it like this, and then we have a switch statement, operation type, and then we can have n number of different data operations. For now, it would be case, it would be geolocation, and of course, make sure about case sensitivity and everything, because if you type in different, then you have to do two lowercase and all those things. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Okay. So on message, if it is event, we trigger it like this. In case of geolocation data, what we will do is we also get this user records of user ID. Okay. So let's say let's keep user record. Okay. So what we will do is return. We will return user record, and then we will say, I think it is called IP data. I'm not sure. Let's quickly check that out. User events, user IP details. Okay. So we will keep it like this, then user IP details, and then whatever payload it sends, we will accept that payload here. Okay, and return this. All right. So this is one, and in all other cases, we would ideally have it like this case, event data, whatever keyword we are using there, geolocation, and then here we have, where is it? Events. Yeah, so we should have something like events, but since currently we only have two events, so if it is not a geolocation data, by default, we will just assume that it is event data, and then user record. And after user record, I think this should be coming here. So user record, and then we have events. Okay, so inside events we will have user record dot events. Okay, and yeah, I mean, then we also have the new event that it gives us. So we will have dot new event, and then we will change the at, so new data at get time. Okay, so we will use this operation on data handler here. We will just do something like this, and of course we need to keep it here. So user record of user ID. By the way, be very very careful with the mutations, because yeah, I mean in JavaScript, mutation is all what screws everything. Okay, so here we want to pass payload and operation type, which would basically be the event thing, and the user record will be user record of user ID. Okay, and now we can just eliminate this and save it. And what is it saying? Could not find user record. Okay, it is user records. All right. Yep. So now this, I think this should handle it well. I hope it should handle it well, but I'm not sure. So let's say user records. And yeah, I mean, let's quickly test it out. Yarn dev. So it's up and running. This should already be up and running. And let's go. And let's actually close this up. Reload the page. Send geolocation. Okay, I think there is some issues. Hmm. Oh, here, my bad. So let's reload this page. I think, okay, I think now it should have sent the data. Successfully written data. So let's refresh this. Okay, so here we will have to add one more use effect to actually trigger this, because we don't know when this WS client will be defined. So, we need to check if WS client is defined. Then we will, send the geolocation data. And yeah, I mean, we don't need to put it here, and save this. Or actually, you know what? We can just have this socket as WS and use this guy directly here. Okay, and let's remove it up. Yep. Okay, so everything is resetted now. Let's go to index, and hopefully this should work as expected. And let me quickly see the front end. Let me explain a little bit to you. Again, since we are already having the socket, so we will just pass the same variable. So we will fetch the asynchronous data from IP API.json, and I think we don't need to console log it. And if the socket exists, which is definitely going to exist, then send the geolocation, and then this geolocation thing operation would be handled here. So user record and everything, and all this thing will happen here. Okay, so let's quickly go to our browser and test this out. So let's have localhost 3000 slash analytics, and of course this is going to be basically, you know, all of this would be happening in background, so the user would not know. So let's click on track event, and let's click on track event 2 3 4 times. Let's go down. So we have this image moving around, and I think that's it. So let's go and close this up, and now let's maximize this window. And I think, yeah, successfully written data. Let's go there, and let's format this data. So you can see now that we have all the user records, their IP details and everything. And other than that, we also have the events and all these things. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much about creating your own analytics, web analytics application using WebSockets and basic authentication and stuff. I hope you liked it. And in case if you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask in a question or anything. Feel free to ask in comments. And yeah, I mean until then, have a great day and keep learning. Thank you very much.